Let me know. Say hello and let me know where you are. I am quite randomly parked in a car, well, in a dodgy car. No, it's not a dodgy car parking space. I'm parked in a car parking space at the back of Sainsbury's in Tadcaster because we're on the road and we have to be at my fiance's son's house and to pick him up. And we had to kind of break our journey up and do this live in the middle so that we get to him on time. So I'm on the road in Trevor again, between Leeds and York. So let me know where in the world you are. Maybe you're near me. Maybe you're in the UK. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're somewhere else in the world. But yeah, that's where I am. I can see Violet's here. She's in New York and I'm nearly in York. So there you go. Hello Violet, lovely to see you here. Do let me know if you're new here, if you are a regular here, or as we like to call you, a repeat offender. I'm going to tell you, I am super tired today. My head was a bit thinky this morning at a time when my head should have been sleeping, and I've been awake since about 4 o'clock this morning. Hello Eleanor, hello, lovely to see you. Oh, that's nice that you're saying hello to Violet as well. That's lovely. Thank you. So, oh, one of the blinds over there just shot up, made me jump. So today we're going to explore resilience and self-compassion, if I remember rightly. That is what we're exploring, isn't it? Anybody else want to tell me what the title is? That is the title. It's resilience and self-compassion that we're going to explore today. So Eleanor and Violet, you must already know each other from somewhere else on Insight Timer, I'm guessing, or maybe somewhere else in the real world. I was on a live on Insight Timer as an attendee the other day, and my friend Suzanne was on the live at the same time, which is really cool. Oh well, Violet, me neither. I could go back to bed. In fact, let's just have a snooze-a-thon for this one. Let's just have a sleep. I know how you feel, Violet. I think this morning... Oh, hello, June, repeat offender. Lovely to see you. Oh, Violet... I know Violet's a teacher. I must get to one of Violet's sessions. I'm going to have a look after this and see when she's on, and I'll try and get to one of your sessions, Violet. And that's how you've met Violet. So, yeah, I'd like to see Violet live, actually, and see her face proper like. That'd be good. Proper like. So don't expect much from me today because it's really interesting. That's lovely. They're lovely. Oh, well, you've sold it lovely and fun. Oh, that's lovely, Eleanor. Oh, that's nice, Violet, isn't it? For Eleanor to say that about your lives. So, well, it's really interesting that we're going to explore resilience today in terms of productivity and self-compassion, because I have... not been very productive today, if I'm honest, and so let's explore exactly what's happened to me today in a moment when I've done a little bit more saying hello to everybody. Oh, that's nice. You listen to lives while you work. I can't listen to things when I'm working. I find my brain can't cope with too many things at once. I get distracted too easily. I have some waves playing usually. Like a subliminal wavy thing in the background, binaural beats and all that kind of thing. Yeah, do you know what though, Violet? I do think with the 3 principles especially, you don't want your intellect to be too involved in listening, because our intellect kind of has all the stories about what we're listening to and what we should understand already and why don't we already know that, and is this really right, when especially with what I share, because for those of you who don't know, and those that you do, you're going to hear it again, sorry about that. I share something called the 3 principles, which there's nothing to do. It helps you to have a much nicer experience of life, and there's nothing to do but listen and learn. But when I say learn, I don't mean like study. I mean let it wash over you. And I think when we're listening to things to do with the 3 principles, I do find that if my intellect's a bit busy doing things, it just kind of goes in underneath the radar of my ego, which is kind of all the time going, is that right, you know, because my old thinking likes to interfere. So that's interesting, Violet, that since listening to me you found yourself questioning a lot of what you hear. Yeah, I do that a lot now. Like even the other day, I've got a friend who helps people to write books. That's her business. She's kind of a book coach, I suppose you call it. And we went for a walk the other day and a bit of lunch, and she said, oh, I've got a client at the moment, and that client is writing a book about mental health. And I went, but is it though? Just went straight away, because most writing and speaking and articles about mental health talk about mental health and then proceed to talk about mental illness, whereas in this 3 principles conversation we really do talk about mental health as an innate quality of human beings, that human beings have innate well-being, that inside of all of us is everything that we're looking for outside of us. And that's just how it is. And if we can see that, if we can look in that direction, if we can look towards seeing everything that we already have inside us, we just start to find ourselves in that place more of the time. And when I say find ourselves, I just mean suddenly notice that you're just not as bothered by things, and you don't feel like you're going on this great big up and down. Life is still going to do the up and down a bit. It does, doesn't it? It's a contact sport. But how about if we don't make it much bigger with our thinking and much more, dramatic? Because a human mind likes to dramatise things, doesn't it? I'm listening to a teacher called Amy Johnson a lot at the moment, and she has this saying, it's just what our mind does. She talks about things that minds just do. And exaggerating is something that minds do. And that's just because at some point in the past it kind of kept us safe. So if we're looking at a rustling bush, this is not now because there's nothing behind a rustling bush. Well, I don't know, it depends where you live, I suppose. If you live in a country where there are like bears, lions and tigers and bears, like the Wizard of Oz, then you might find that rustling bushes could be dangerous. But I mean, for most of us, a rustling bush is not really dangerous. Whereas back in the day, there's a rustling bush, so I can either exaggerate or I can go ooh and go, oh, it's going to be a saber-toothed tiger, and then if it is a saber-toothed tiger, I've taken some action and I've kept safe. And if it's a bunny rabbit, well, I'm still okay, aren't I? Nothing's happened. And our brain is still kind of wired for that kind of exaggeration. So I don't know where I was going with that at all, but a little bit about the 3 principles. So 3 principles are thought, consciousness and mind, universal mind, universal energy. And these 3 principles are like the jigsaw pieces that create human experience. So that's what we talk about. We don't really specifically talk about the 3 principles in their individual pieces quite so much, although you will hear me talk about intuition and wisdom and things like that, and innate mental health, and that's where I'm talking to this connection that we have, this universal mind, universal energy. You will hear me talk about awareness and curiosity and noticing, and that's when I'm talking about consciousness, and you'll hear me talk about thought and psychology and our thinking and our ego, and that's what I'm talking about thought. And these 3 things come together and they create all our experience. And what happens is you explore this understanding. Like Violet says, I used to judge myself too much, and I'm guessing you're saying by used to that something about that has fallen away, Violet. That it was prominent and it was part of your life, and then you just kind of noticing, oh, don't seem to be doing that anymore. And this is what happens when we look in this direction. We're looking towards innate mental health, we're looking towards changing our relationship with our thoughts and feelings, but not needing to change them. And I think this is so important for women, because it is I think we've taken self-development the way we've taken everything else to the extreme. So we, I say so much, women misheard the call to action. the call to action was you can do anything, as in be anything, do anything, go anywhere. You don't have, you're not restricted because you're a woman. But the what we heard was you can do everything, and you can do it perfectly and fast. In fact, yesterday, if possible, and not get it wrong, and make sure you keep everybody happy and please everybody as well, like, you know, and all of that. And then but then we did that with all of our lives. We do our careers and how we look after our families and our homes and everything else. But on top of that, we've done that with self-development. We've said, we've gone, there's something wrong with me. Well, that's something I have to do. Something else on my list of things to do. This is what I used to say all the time, and still do. You know, it's like another thing to do. I often say that my self-development to excess, I could have absolutely had a side hustle, written a book, travelled the world in all the time that I spent trying to fix myself. So I think self-development has just become yet another thing that us women think we're supposed to be doing perfectly. And if we're not perfect, and if we're not doing it all right, then we do judge ourselves and we are critical, and where that perfectionism comes in, doesn't it? But in actual fact, we don't need any of it. And I think that's partly why it's so hard, because we're looking out there for the things that are already inside us, and we're never going to find them there. You're already home. You're already perfect, whole and well. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, it's the truth, really. And that's what I hope you hear in these things that I share, just these glimmers of truth, and that helps you to want to keep looking in this direction, to come to these sessions, to listen to my recordings. I've got loads of recordings for you, free ones, absolutely loads. And now, exciting news, folks. This morning, course number 4 went live. I've created a course every single month since what month are we on? So this is August course. So August, July, June, May. So May, June, July and August I've created a new course. So my new course went live this morning. I'm really excited about it. It's all about relationships, and from Monday we're going to be exploring relationships. So please do join my group, which is called Powered by Calm, because I truly believe we all can be totally powered by calm, not powered by stress and anxiety and overwhelm. And when you share with me in that group the things that you've got going on with your relationships. We've all got something, haven't we? So we're going to explore resilience and self-compassion today, and I'm probably going to get emotional because I'm really tired. But here's where I've got a story about what's happened to me today. So today, excuse me, you may have noticed that we're in Trevor. We're in the motorhome. We're somewhere between Leeds and York, in Yorkshire, in the north of England. We're heading to pick up my fiance's son, and we are then going to the seaside again. We're at the seaside every weekend at the moment because we're going to see my daughter. And this morning I woke up at stupid o'clock. I had quite a few things on my mind. I'm doing an assignment at the moment. I've got all this PR stuff I'm doing. I've just got quite a lot. And sometimes my head just wakes up and it's not gonna. I read for a little while and I just had it in my mind that there was a lot to do. And the other thing is that when we're travelling, now it doesn't matter for me whether I'm travelling in the motorhome or whether I'm travelling on a plane, which I haven't done for a long time, but I am doing in November. I'm going to Spain. I am a bit fractious. Perhaps you should ask Bruce what I'm like when we're travelling. You could shout from the other end of the motorhome. But I'm just a bit not. I'm just not myself really when we're travelling. I'm a bit short-tempered and a bit emotional. I'm emotional now, I'm not sure why, but there you go. And poor Bruce has to put up with me being a bear with a sore head. So I got up this morning. I just got up in the end. I laid there for about half an hour trying to get back to sleep, and I couldn't get back to sleep, so I got up and started getting ready to pack the motorhome. I did some yoga actually, which was quite helpful. And I noticed that I didn't feel so good, and so this is the piece around how we see ourselves in terms of resilience, first of all. So what it's really easy to do when things are getting a bit tricky is to think that we're not being resilient. So this morning I was grumpy, I was tired, and I was just emotional. I've had a couple of cries today. I don't know why. Probably because I'm tired. I was a bit wound up about something that I was talking to Bruce about. Yeah, and I just got into a bit. But what I noticed was, well, what I'm noticing as I reflect on that is that I still kept moving forward. And I think that's like when we're thinking about getting things done, because we've been really deeply exploring productivity this month. When we think about getting things done, it's like without the predetermined idea. So this morning I had in my diary that I was going to work on this assignment I've got to do. But I was tired. I knew that my head was just not in a fit state to do that. So I chose to do something different. I chose to go buy the food that we need for the weekend to carry on. Bruce has got a lot of work on the moment, so I'll let him get on with working while I just did some jobs, got ready, packed the van, did things we needed to do to get on the road. So sorry about that, Joe. Bless you. Sending you a massive hug. We should do some hug swapping. That's the only thing about this. We can't hug, can we? So yeah, you had a day. You were spot on the same as you yesterday. Bless you. So I think what I could see about myself was that despite all that, I still moved forward. So when we're talking about resilience, it's like there's a rope round our middle and it's just pulling us forward. It's just pulling us through life. Now, I didn't do what I'd planned to do today. And when it comes to productivity and getting things done, that really can be a space for us to beat ourselves up. Now, we've had a Violet mention judgment, I've mentioned perfectionism, I've mentioned the inner critic and imposter syndrome, all those kind of things. I absolutely would not have let myself get away with this in the past. I would have beaten myself up, and I would have believed that not working on my assignment this morning meant that I was a failure, that I had failed because I hadn't worked on the assignment. But in actual fact, my head feels like mashed potato today. And so the idea that I could actually create anything of any value from this state of mind, in terms of an assignment that's to be at degree level academically, is just ridiculous, really. It's an interesting little spot, this. Cars keep squeaking past us, and they're using it as a turning circle. I'm not sure why. People keep coming down here, turning around and going off. Anyway, never mind them. So I think in the past, and maybe you can relate to this, maybe you can, Joe, when we have one of those days where we feel a bit rubbish and we just need to do something. Like today, it was really helpful to get the shopping done, and things. I did some other bits and pieces that needed doing, but I didn't work on my assignment, which was what I said I was going to do this morning. But how about if that's just okay? How about if I don't have to beat myself up about that? How about that self-compassion? I'm tired. My thank you, Ripon. My brain is not in a fit state to write academic stuff about coaching and mentoring. It just isn't. There's no point pretending that it is. But how often are we so hard on ourselves? about those things, really hard on ourselves. And I think when I think about productivity, this was my cycle before. My cycle was having an off day, not doing what I thought I should be doing, in inverted commas, and then beating myself up for it. And then the next day, or then, as part of that same day or the next day, doing even less because I felt so rubbish about myself that I then didn't feel like doing anything again. And I was very much dictated to by my feelings at that point. I did really think, wrongly, that my feelings could decide for me what I would do on a day-to-day basis. But that beating ourselves up does not help, does it? Rachel, you can relate to this very much. I don't think there's a woman. I think there's many women on the planet who can't relate to this. I really don't. In particular, women. I'm sure it affects men as well, but I think this women mishearing the call to action. I think it's real. That is. It's not. We were not told we could do everything. We were told we could do anything. It's but it feels like we're supposed to do everything. Now, those of you that have met me before, and I know there's a few of you on here, do know that I actually burnt out in 2015. And that was just from keeping going, when really I needed to rest. And in fact, in the end, my body got its own way, and I rested for more than a year and didn't go to work and couldn't work and ended up resigning from work. I was a primary school head teacher at that point. So that is that can be the result of keeping on going and then beating ourselves for not keeping going quite as much as we think we should, and then going on and on and on with that. And it just isn't the kindest way to be with ourselves. And I'm getting from the comments, and maybe there's more of you here who feel exactly the same way as that we that many of us are feeling like this now. That we just must keep going, we must keep doing, and we must keep doing the things we said we were going to do. And that is really interesting if you run your own business as well, isn't it? I'm not sure how many people here do run their own business. Let me know if you do. That we make up the deadlines, we make up the rules, we make up the this and that and the other, and the projects we're on, and the targets and the goals and whatever else, and then we beat ourselves up for not doing them, but we made them up. So we're making it up and then beating ourselves up for not doing it. So oh, bless you, Joe. Feel like a mouse on a wheel. It can sometimes feel like it's spinning so much that you don't know how to get off it. I had a client I worked with recently, and she just kept trying to get ahead. That was her thing that we talked about a lot. Just, she was working, she's got a young child, and she was working times when she really would have preferred to be with him. And she just kept saying in her head kept saying, well, if you just get this finished, then you can. And then, of course, something else happened. And then it was, we'll just get this finished, then I'll feel okay, and I'll feel like I'm on top of it, and I'll be able to stop or take a break or go spend time with my son. And that went on and on and on and on. So I'm sorry to hear about that, Ripon. I'm not sure what you do and what the customers are doing to break the rules, but let's try and stay with the. Today we are exploring self-compassion and resilience. So I'd be interested to know, Ripon, what you're seeing around self-compassion and resilience regarding to what you've shared there. That would be good to hear, actually. It helped me to explore it with you. So where did I get to? So the story of me this morning is a really good example of both those things, resilience and self-compassion, because what I noticed was that despite being really tired, I was still doing things. Now, what I could have done was made up a story, very easily what I used to do, which said, and the story would have said, well, you're not resilient enough because you've not done what you should have done today. You should have been tough and been okay that you're absolutely exhausted and just like balled yourself up and cracked on, and you're not resilient enough because you haven't bounced back from not getting enough sleep, and so you're a bit rubbish. that easily in the past would have been the story. It would have been, well, you should feel motivated all the time, you should be able to get everything done you said you're going to do, and if you're not doing that, you're a disaster. Like, that was pretty much what the voice in my head used to say. And then, but in actual fact, I've actually done quite a lot this morning. I've been to 3 different shops, like food shops, because we buy, I don't know, people in the UK, you won't know, but we have Aldi. I go and get like the bulk of my veg and fruit and stuff like that from Aldi, and then go to Morrison's today and got like the gluten-free stuff and the dairy-free stuff and that kind of thing. And then I went to Iceland and bought some crab sticks. You don't need to know what I bought on the shelves, do you? But anyway, I went to 3 lots of shopping. I did all sorts of planning around food we were going to have in the van, and then I packed quite a lot of the van. I packed all my own stuff in. I've done lots of things today, but they're just not the things that were on my schedule. But I've kept moving forward. Even if I was sitting on the sofa resting and doing something less productive, as you might say, I would still be moving. I would still be, still be living, still be existing, still be moving forward. And it's about seeing that resilience is always there. It never ever lets us down. And what I love about the 3 principles concept around resilience is that it's saying that we are resilience. It says that that's part of these innate qualities that we have, this innate well-being, the things that connect us all to each other. And it's what we were born with, like little children, don't they fall down, get up, fall down, get up, fall down, get up hundreds of times before they learn to walk, and fail at things over and over again before they learn to do them all the way through childhood. And that's an innate quality that's always there. And when we look in that direction, we can start to see how we are being resilient all day, every day. We may have a noise in our head that says, no, you're not doing enough, you're not doing good enough, you're not recovering fast enough, and you're not, you should be able to do more than this, and you should be able to move more than this, and move forward more than this, or whatever else. But all those, watch out. I've just realised something really profound there, that watch out where your mind is measuring, because that's what our mind loves to do. It loves to compare and measure and, kind of add statistics to things and make things look lesser than or more than, depending which one is worse. So watch out, always watch out for when your mind is doing that, is measuring and saying this is better or worse than, this is not good. Honey, sorry, I'm just there's a van just pulled up the side of us here, just too close for comfort, from my perspective. So I was just going to say to my fiance, can you just make sure that man's not reversing into our wing mirror, because he did look very close. So yeah, train of thought completely gone now. Somebody tell me what I was talking about, because I've no idea. So that piece about resilience, that's an innate quality, it's always there, it's who we really are, and it is not, it was watch out for when a mind is measuring. When a mind is measuring, when a mind is saying, this is too big, this is too small, this is too much, this is too little, whatever it is, watch out for that kind of thinking, because that will be causing us to see that we're not being enough of anything, really. Resilient enough, productive enough, because that word enough that's a word of measurement, isn't it, as well? So that's a little more about resilience. So what I see about myself this morning was that, and maybe you can see that, those of you, Joe, it sounds like you're having a tricky time at the moment, that without all that mind measuring things, we can never not be doing enough. Like what? I remember, I don't even know if the session's on here, but I remember doing a live once, not on here, somewhere else, about enough, just the word enough. What is that? What does that, who measures that? I mean, when we say, I remember doing, have any of you heard of Marissa Peer? Who's heard of Marissa Peer? She does this thing called rapid transformational therapy. I doubt she's a teacher on Insight Timer, but she's a hypnotherapist, and she's quite well known. And she used to have this thing about getting people to believe that they were enough. So she had this little program you could do with a load of hypnotherapy tracks on, which in my peak of spending lots of money on things, I bought it. And both Bruce and I were talking about that the other day and went, oh God, why did we buy that? Well, because we were desperate to try and find the thing, because we were on the fix it routine together, Bruce and I. So on my mirrors all around my house, I had in red lipstick, I had written, I am enough. And in some of the mirrors, I don't know what happens with lipstick in mirrors, but I don't know if anyone's got recommendations for getting it off. It'll probably be bicarbonate of soda or white vinegar. That generally cleans most things. Anyway, on some mirrors I can still see it. Well, Katie, do I have to, is the question, because she's not a person who I would direct people towards now. I'll be honest. So reach out to me privately, and I will, drop me a message and I'll provide that lady's name. But I'm not going to share it on this live. Alcohol. That's a good idea, Jean. Thank you. No, because I am in, like what I was going to say about that is thinking that seeing the words I am enough on a mirror all the time is actually even needed. I know I'm enough. I don't need to see that anymore. I don't, that's in here, knowing that I'm enough. But even what does it mean? How would I measure my enoughness against somebody else's enoughness? How do I know I'm enough? Am I enough on Tuesday afternoons? Am I enough on Monday mornings? Enough of what? Enough of what? Enough, what does it even mean? I hope you can hear, I don't need it on my mirror anymore, because I think it's something rude. I do think it's BS. I really do. I don't even see the point of it anymore, because as a measure of what against what. And this takes us beautifully into the self-compassion piece and into being kind to ourselves, and that becomes easier when we remove the idea that anything is enough or not enough, because that's just an illusion. There isn't anything that's enough or not enough, or it just isn't. There isn't anything. But we are always doing the best we can. So the perspective Yeah, Wendy, it really does help to get rid of the idea of measuring. And watch out. Then all this talk we're doing here is about awareness raising. So there's a nice piece of awareness raising and curiosity. Like, notice when you're using the measuring terminology. It's enough. It's good enough. It's right. It's wrong. It's you know. It's smaller, it's bigger. You like, notice when your mind is using that language against you, and notice how that makes you feel. Because the great thing is that if it's making you feel uncomfortable, that is super brilliant, because it's letting you know that thinking's a lie. Oh, bless Nonny. My late husband liked to always say, I'm doing my personal best. All of us are, all the time. And even when we're doing things that afterwards we go, I kind of wish I hadn't done that. Doesn't matter. All the time we are doing our personal best. That's so lovely, Nonny. I absolutely love that. I really love that. It's so beautiful. So, and that, that piece around letting all the measurement language fall away is just, I remember something's coming back to me now, that I spoke once about the internal ruler. Like, it's like we think we've got some kind of ruler inside where we can, or tape measure, where we can just measure whether how we are as a person is enough or not. Against what criteria? And so this is where, the self-compassion piece is coming in for me now, is when we look towards seeing that, like Nonny's late husband says, that we're doing our personal best. Yes, Nonny, absolutely, that it really does. Measurement hurts. It does hurt. And that is why our suffering, our emotional suffering, is so helpful. It's not nice, and nobody prefers to feel that way, but it's so helpful because it's letting us know that we have untrustworthy thinking. And Mick, I love that. When is enough enough? Is a great question to ask ourselves. It's just a great exploration, isn't it? And that's what I'm encouraging here, really, is to be in this space of curiosity, to be in this space of, well, how would I know if it was enough? What would a bell... it's funny, actually, I was sitting here when we started, and the church bells, I don't know what time they went off. They go off at 1:30. Maybe they went off at 1:30. They must have gone off at 1:30. They probably go off the half hour, on the half hour. So the church is just there. It's a beautiful old church, actually. And the bells went off. So what does happen, Mick, perhaps, when it's enough, is a big bell will go off somewhere. Or the fireworks will go. Or somebody will present us with a small trophy. Or, what will actually happen? Well, nothing, because our mind will still say it's not enough. Our mind will not give us a trophy. Our mind will not provide us with a certificate or a sticker. Bruce and I actually joke quite often, if one or other of us have done something right, we're like, where am I getting a sticker for that? Or we'll say, do you want a sticker? There is going to be no prize. There's going to be no prize. So this is where, like, the opposite, really, of beating ourselves up because it's not enough, we've not done enough, and we've Nonny, I love that. We've made it so enough. Hurrah! Yeah, if anybody actually gets there, please could you tell me what it's like? Is it like, well, do you know what it could be like? Who's seen the Barbie movie? Maybe it's Barbie Land. Who's seen it and who knows what I'm talking about? That could be it. Maybe we just all go to Barbie Land when it's enough, and we then just live this perfect life. Perfect plastic life. We're never gonna I'll definitely go. I highly recommend everybody to go see the Barbie movie. It's just brilliant. Oh, Violet, you'll love it. It's absolutely brilliant. I really do recommend it. It's really good. Even Bruce, who was like, we had to put his arm up his back and like drag him in there. Even he said it was all right. And my daughter loved it, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And lots of people I've spoken to thought it was brilliant. So, excuse me. Once it's out of the cinemas, I'm going to share my favourite speech from it on social media, because it was just brilliant. So, there is no enough, and if you've got a mind telling you that there is, it's wrong. Isn't that great? Like I remember, like, well, I remember really being on that programme, the I Am Enough programme with Marissa Peer. Like, just, yeah, where was I trying to get to? Where are any of us trying to get to? And when it comes to doing things, because this is the last day, really, that we're exploring productivity, until next year, I'll probably just repeat the themes next year and just go through them again, and explore them even deeper than this year. But anyway, this is the last day in productivity. That there's never going to be enough of that, is there? Because does anybody here ever got to the bottom of their list and not then seconds later added something else? Has anybody ever really got to the bottom of their list? Done everything, like my fiance's got a proper job, so he's never at the bottom of his list ever, and neither am I. So he'll say, "What have you got on today?" And I'll say, "Well, I've not got any meetings actually. I've only got one meeting. Because I'll have one-to-ones, I'll have client meetings, I have networking meetings, I've all sorts of training for my courses and blah blah." Anyway, and I'll say, "Well, I've only got one meeting today," and he'll be like, "Well, have you got something to do?" And I'm like, Jesus. Have I got something to do? I mean, yeah, just a few bits and pieces. If you run your own business, you've never not got anything to do, have you? So you're never going to be at the bottom of the list or the end of the list. And it's like we're chasing it and chasing it and chasing. Oh, I'm sure you would, Violet. If you got to the bottom of it, you'd definitely find more. It's like, I don't know, what is the never-ending... It's like the never-ending... I feel like Willy Wonka, definitely, there's a new Willy Wonka film coming out at Christmas, like a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So excited about that. Yeah, it'd be like some kind of, like, I can imagine Willy Wonka inventing a machine that just continually keeps... Well, he does, doesn't he? Like a river of chocolate. I mean, something where it just keeps producing more and more and more. Our business brain has definitely got that capacity, because we, well, if anybody here is excited about business, you're always gonna, you're gonna be excited. If you're excited about it, you're gonna come with more and more ideas, and there's gonna be more to do. So there's no enough there. There's definitely no enough in how much I've done. There's no enough in how productive I am. There's just no enough, is there, in any of it? So when we kind of look at our day and go, right, I've got this, that and the other to do, and then we set off, like me today, I set off with the intention, even when I got up this morning, I thought, right, well, I'll do some yoga and I'll shake this cloudy head off, and then I'll be down with the assignment writing thing. Excuse me. And I just wasn't. and I could, I could be horrible to myself about that. And who here is horrible to themselves about that, be honest, because I was for a long time. But now, I don't. It's okay. I will do some work on it over the weekend. I generally am an early riser, as you know. So I'll get it done. I'll get the assignment done when it needs to be done. I'm not worried about that. It'll be fine. And I got some other things done, and it's fine. But I so could have beaten myself up about that before. So, Nonny, you're plagued by that desire to be productive. Trying to disconnect from that feeling. It's exhausting. And you feel like you need to learn to sit still. Well, that's really interesting. because I've been having a real revelation about this and myself recently, about this being still thing. Hello, Stephen. Welcome. I've not said hello to loads of people, actually. I've not said hello for a while. So I'll say hello, and in a minute, and then we'll talk about the desire to the needing to sit still thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, welcome, anybody who's just... Oh, I'm loving the hearts, thank you. What morning, anybody? And good morning must be somewhere to the east of me. No, to the west of me, sorry. To the east of me, It's further on in the day. So please tell me where you are. Tell me if you're new here. And if you are new here, please do follow me. Please do go check out check out where my brain is. If anybody finds it, can I have it back, please? Almost 9 a.m. in New York. Bruce thinks he's got my brain. He hasn't. Yeah, do follow me and check out my 4 courses on Insight Timer now, all from a 3 principles perspective, covering so many different issues in life. We've got calm, balance and clarity with ease. We've got a course about revealing your full potential. We've got a course about productivity and a course about relationships. So please do go follow me, and please do check out my courses and my free tracks. I've got loads of those. I have got a few premium tracks as well. The new course just went live this morning, and it's all about relationships. And anybody got any issues with any of them by any chance? Put your hand up if you've got any kind of problem with any other human being on the planet. And if you don't put your hand up, I know you're fibbing. Thank you. Thank you, Violet Jenny. Ha! Is that an admission, Jenny? Yeah, we've all got somebody, or maybe a few people, who in our lives who just really do seem to get on our nerves. So so a fun exploration all around that. Won't just be for your love relationships, it will be for all your relationships, because they're all formed in pretty much the same way. It's just some are closer than others, aren't they? So we'll be yes, clients too, Joe. Some hard work clients. Yeah. Do you know what? I don't think I've got any. I did have one, and he's not my client anymore, which is nice. But I don't have any at the moment. They're all lovely, which is nice actually. So if you're lovely, you could be one of my clients too. But only lovely people. But I don't think there's any not lovely people here on Insight Timer, where I love to share the 3 principles, and I do these sessions by donation. So if you are able to make a donation today, thank you very much, especially if you found this exploration of resilience and self-compassion helpful. Nancy, you're new here from Boulder, Colorado, just waking up. Good morning, welcome. It's 2 p.m. here in the UK. I think Violet says it's 9. And she's contemplating going back to sleep. I would never go back to sleep at 9 o'clock unless somebody hit me over the head with a blunt instrument. My body was just... Well, that's a story, isn't it, that I've just shared. Maybe my body would let me go to sleep at 9 if I didn't believe my body won't let me go to sleep at 9. So there you go. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, Violet, I love that. 4:44. Do you like that it's at 1:11 today? It was 1:11 here, Violet, the time that this live, when I set it, because I thought it'd be nice. I'm trying to do one at 1:11 on a Friday. I haven't scheduled any for next week, but watch this space. They will get scheduled hopefully tomorrow or maybe later today. See how I get on. So there will be. It's all about relationships. So let me know what's going on with you and your relationships. What's the issue? What are the issues there? What kind of problems have you got with your relationships? Come on, let's have a maybe on Monday I should just do a session where everybody kind of spills their guts and has a right good moan about the people in their lives. It was 5:11. It's perfect. Thank you, Wendy. That's an early morning. A little bit later than I was this morning. Mine was a 4. In fact, I probably got up when some of you in America were just going to bed. So hello, Claudia. I've not seen you for a while. Welcome. 8:11 for you, Violet. So back to compassion. This sentence that I'm going to say to you now is probably one of the most powerful things that I heard through the Three Principles conversation. That is, everybody's doing the best they can with the thinking that looks true to them. And have you noticed how much your thinking looks true when you're in the middle of something? That it may well be that it's a load of old rubbish, but in actual fact it just looks true, doesn't it? It looks like it's true. And so we do the thing that our thinking tells us to do. And here's how this works. And this is how behaviour changes through the Three Principles conversation. We have a feeling, and the feeling either looks like it's coming from out there in the world, or it looks like, we know it's coming from inside us. If it looks like it's coming from outside in the world, we want relief from the feeling, or we want more of the feeling if it's a nice one. And so we behave according to the thought that looks true in that moment, from our heads. And then we follow that. That's all we're doing. So in any moment, you will do what makes sense to you. So in terms of productivity, this is where the self-compassion comes in, is we start to see, well, okay, I didn't do that thing that I said I would do or scheduled to do, like me and my assignment this morning. But at the time, I did what I thought was right. I think there was, it was lovely earlier when Nonnie said what her ex-husband said. Too many lots of colours. Yeah, I'm doing my personal best. We all are always doing our personal best, all the time. No matter how dodgy it might look, we're still always doing our best. And when we can see that, it allows this space of compassion to open up, where we see our own psychological innocence. We see that our thinking looked true in the moment. Now, what happens with the Three Principles is, the more we see that our feelings don't come from the outside world, the more we get, a little bit more questioning about our thinking and whether it is telling the truth. We know that when we have an uncomfortable feeling, that's letting us know that we've got untrustworthy thinking. We start to be able to more and more not listen to our thinking. But one of the first places I want you to bring some doubt in terms of your thinking, is any thought that tells you you're not doing enough, any thought that tells you you're a bit crap, any thought that says you should. Watch out for the word should. That's another lovely place to bring awareness. Any voice in your head that says, well, you're a failure today. Any voice that says it's not perfect. Any voice that says, any inner critical voice, which will make you feel bad because it's telling you that thinking's a lie, that it's untrustworthy. And the more we see this, the more that space of just being, just okay with ourselves. And the other thing to see about that is that the criticism doesn't, have you noticed that all that criticism does not make you do anything better or more or be more productive? Because it weighs heavy on us, doesn't it? And we then just feel a bit ugh. And then doing things becomes less and less likely, not more likely. So I'm just going to go to the comments for a moment. Nonnie, my friend has become his abusive father in essence, came to help me after my husband passed and ended up being his verbally abusive dad. I'm so sorry to hear that, Nonnie. That does not sound pleasant. And Claudia, yes, me too, Claudia, have a critical voice, although mine is, I call mine Niggly Nelly, and she is quieter now. She's still there sometimes, and what I say, I kind of have this joke where I say, well, she's a bit like a drunk old lady sat in the corner of the pub. Like sometimes you go to a shop and there's some poor old lady who just shouts random, or you go to a pub and there's some drunk person in the corner just bumbling away to themselves and shouting things out. Well, my niggly Nellie's a bit like that. She's in the corner, and I just keep giving her a glass of wine and the odd gin and tonic, and it seems to keep her quiet. So she's a lot less prominent. Yours, yeah, you're laughing at that, Claudia, and yours is called Annabelle. That's a lovely name for her, though. She sounds really nice, but I'm guessing she isn't. Nonny, you said you question your feelings a lot because you've been this person for many years who triggered all those voices with his own, but I knew it was more on my own thinking. Yeah, Nonny, that's a really good awareness, because what happens when somebody's not kind to us, how we relate to that is often, well, it is generated by our own thinking. So, you know, sometimes somebody can be mean to you and you're just like, oh yeah, whatever, you're a bit of I'm not really interested in you. And then other times, when we're in a lower mood, when we're tired, I've been very sensitive today, poor Bruce, he does get the brunt of it, bless him. You know, when we're feeling like that, it may well be that we're not particularly logical about these kind of things. So, you know, it's it fluctuates, doesn't it, how we react to somebody else's words. So Claudia says, literally the moment you're not doing anything, you have a very mean voice. And I guess, Claudia, that mean voice feels terrible in your body. And that, you know, that's the gift. That's the gift of understanding these three principles. The gift is that, yeah, it feels awful. Of course it feels awful, because an awful feeling is always telling you you've got awful thinking. And that's why your feelings are a gift, not something to be managed. I just actually put a reel on Instagram a couple of days ago, which was about this. Why are we being told by society to manage our feelings, to get, you know, well, that's half of our feelings are being pathologized away with medication, but the other half we're supposed to be managing and getting rid of. And how do we get rid of anxiety? And what do I need to tap, or do I need to breathe, or what? No, your anxiety, your feeling is a gift. It's information. It's like, you know, it's like a lighthouse or a traffic. I mean, a lighthouse, I say, you know, ignoring a feeling or trying to suppress a feeling or trying to get rid of a feeling is like smashing the light bulb in the lighthouse and then wondering why you crash on the rocks. It's like putting a piece of cardboard over your dashboard where all the alerts and lights are on telling you how your car's functioning, and then driving around and wondering why you run out of fuel, your speed, your engine blows up because you blow your head gasket because you've got no oil in your engine. We've got this concept, and I mean, God knows where it started, that feelings have to be controlled. Feelings are information. They're the gift, the biggest gift. The only thing, what else is going to tell you whether your thinking's trustworthy or not? There isn't anything, is there? So, lots of giggles. I like the giggles. Yeah, maybe Annabelle is too nice a name, Claudia, for your inner critic there. Yeah, it does feel awful. Yeah, well, Claudia, that's like a feeling awful for, you're not doing that to yourself. You are psychological innocent. So in the same way, if you are being critical, you're doing the best you can still. It's like the same thing, if that makes sense. So Claudia, Nonny says, Claudia, I've been very focused on listening in on that voice, catching it, and choosing a new tone with the same message. Yeah, or maybe not that message at all. Maybe those message. If the message feels rubbish, the message is bye-bye. It's rubbish. And what this understanding provides us with is this like a light comes on the button, you know, the button on the train door that lights up and it says open. You can press that button and get off the train. If you're on a train of thought, it feels rubbish, and you realise it's feeling rubbish, back to this. Who's not seeing me hitting myself? It's not a box of tissues today. It's not quite as impressive as a ruler, is it? But you know, if I'm hitting my head with a box of tissues and telling you that can't get rid of my headache, and it's awful, and I've been sniffing lavender oil and drinking water and whatever. I've been doing lots of things to get rid of my headache, and I can't make it go away. And you're going to say, well, stop it then. Stop hitting yourself on the head with a tissue box. It's usually a ruler. Tissue box isn't quite as effective. And you'll feel better. Like, the invitation here is to start to realise that there's an opportunity to get off a train of thought. The light comes on when you realise that it's the train of thought creating the suffering, not anything else. Nothing else ever. The suffering is always coming from your thinking. You're not doing that to yourself, it's just a psychological misunderstanding in that moment. There's loads. I'm just going to go through the comments because I'm going to have to go soon. So I'm loving a strong mother to that brutal, nasty voice. Yeah. Doesn't... No, I mean... I think there's something around whether we need to change the voice or just let it go. I used to spend a lot of time trying to change the voice to something else, and I now see that I was giving it too much attention, and maybe just let it go. It's not... So the voice is not you, Claudia, no. You're something so much deeper than that. And you know, like, the essence of who you really are has a different voice. You know when, there's a field full of sheep, and the mother sheep knows the sound of her baby lamb. You know the sound of the voice that you can trust. It comes with such a good feeling. It comes with a feeling of peace. It comes with love, peace, wisdom, all of those things. The voice you can trust feels good. The voice you can't trust feels bad. It's really that simple. And the more time you spend in this conversation, the more that just becomes clearer in the moment and clearer. Yeah, Nonny, you're right. It is a collection of criticisms you've heard from outside of you, most of which were decades ago. Well, decades ago for me, perhaps not for some of you. You might be younger than me, but it is decades ago. Claudia, once you become aware of the voice, it just hurts. Yeah, that's something that, I'd love to talk to you properly about that. And that's for everybody. If you want to actually reach out, go to the link in my bio. There's ways to contact me. And you can message me on here, of course, as well. Thank you, Fanaz. I'm glad you found it good today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to have to go because we have to hit the road again. This is we've stopped off clearly in the most popular turning circle in the whole of Tadcaster, because literally I think 40 cars have come in and out of this little space and turned around and they come up here, they're going to turn around and then just go again. It's very strange. Very busy little spot. Thank you so much, Nonny, for your lovely donation. Remember, folks, these lives come to you via donation. This hour I spent with you is only supported by donation. But also, please do, if you can, support me by going and support yourselves and learn some more about this. Do go check out my courses. And that's another great place for, when you listen to a lesson, you have the opportunity to send me a little message. I can do you a little voice note. We can get into a bit of a conversation. I'd love to talk to more of you outside of these live sessions where it's just comments, and we can get into a bit more of an interaction one-to-one on the course platform. So please do check those out. Check out my free tracks. Please do follow me if you're not already following me, because then you get to see everything that goes live as it goes live. I've already got, I think one of the things that woke me at 4 o'clock this morning was the bubbles